Now we're gonna write a very simple function. Yeah, the purpose of this function is to return the first row of the data frame that was provided as an argument to this function. Yeah, so let's create function deal. Here we use command function to define our own function, and as argument we provide cards. Yeah, this is the name of our argument, and now what we want to return is the very first row. Yeah, so here we use cards, square bracket, and 1 comma. So it means that we return the first row and all columns. Yeah, because if we don't, once again, if we don't write anything here, it returns all columns. Yeah. In this function we could write return, but it's not necessary. Why? Because we provide the very last line. Yeah, and by default this is what will be returned. Okay, so now we load this function to the memory, and as you can see, now we have new object, new function, deal, and if we write deal df, our data frame that we downloaded before, and that was this code that allowed us to load this from the internet. Yes, so I'm putting this code once again here, and now we provide df as argument of deal, and it returns the very first row. Yeah, and as we can see, indeed, king spades 13 is the first row. Yeah. Also, we can, obviously we can return. We can provide some subset of our data frame, just like here. Yeah. So if we provide this as an argument, it should return this thing. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, indeed. And here, if we write this, then what will be returned is the first row of this dataset with all columns, and here I dropped the very last one. Yeah, so easy. Yeah, I think so. Suppose that we want to change the position of one card in our deck of cards, and maybe we want to take the very first row and put this as second row, and second row now will be our first row. Yeah, so how to do it? It can be done quite easily. So we have df. Yeah. So we want to. So in this exercise, we want to make king the second and queen the first. We can do this quite easily simply by writing because there are 52 rows, and we cannot forget about C. concatenation. So now we provide new order of the cards, where second element is the first is the second, and remaining cards are the same. Recall that before king was the first, queen was the second. Now we have queen is the first, king is the second. Using very similar approach, we can randomize the order of all cards. So it would be like shuffling the deck of cards. Yeah, and to do it, we will use our function that we know already, sample. We provide, so we want to sample over vector of sequential vector from 1 to 52, and and we want to sample another row, another vector of 52 elements. And now what is important here is that we want to sample without replacement. Replace should be false. Why? Because we don't want to make a situation that, for instance, card from row number 5 will be chosen twice or 3 times by the sampling algorithm. Yeah, so we run this, and we get new order. So now if we want to, here random, the first card is the 10th card from the initial deck. So let's check what should be the first. After shuffling, it should be 4 spades. Yeah, so now we can type our deck 2 to be F random. This is our vector that we created. And indeed, now the first element is 4 spades. Yeah, the second. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it now. Exactly the same thing, but using our own function. Yes. So what we want to do is to create a function that takes cards with some order, yeah, and here we randomize the order, and what we return is new deck of cards with new order. Okay. Here we have new function over there, and so this is our initial order, and if we type shuffle, we get some new order. Yeah. What is important that this function doesn't change the argument, our input argument. So still shuffle the. Notice that here we have queen 8 to 8, but still our initial data frame that we provided as an argument didn't change. So to change this, there are 2 ways. One way is to use super assignment inside the function, which looks like this, but it's not a good practice to use this type of operator, and instead of this there is something nicer, I would say. Yes, so let's create a copy of our data set. And this is exactly our data set, and if we want to resample the order and replace the new order deck with, if we want to replace the old order with the new order, it's enough to type this. Yeah. So here we assign the out. So here we provide deck as an argument of function shuffle, and the output of the realization of this function is assigned to object deck, yeah, which was our input argument. Yeah, and yeah, this is it. Now we will talk how to change only certain elements of our objects. Yeah, so changing values of some elements objects, and let's create a vector that consists of 6 zeros. It's not the fastest way to generate vector of zeros, because remember that also we could generate this by using function rep. Yeah, we get exactly the same result. And for vectors of zeros also there is another alternative way to do it. Basically we type numeric and the length of our vector, and this generates vector of zeros. Suppose that now we want to change only the first element. Here the first element is 0 as expected, and we want to assign new value. Yeah, then our new vector will be with the first element changed and the remaining element unchanged. Very similarly, we can change many elements, yeah, of the vector. Let's say the first, the third, and the fourth. Yeah, and we want to have those values. Yeah, the first, the third, the fourth, just like here. Okay. Alternatively, if we want to change some elements to only one values, we don't have to write this, because only providing the scalar is just enough for R. Yeah, it works. If we want to increase certain elements of our vector by 1, we can write this way. Yeah. While mathematically speaking, if we treat this operator as equality, it would lead to something weird. Because if we subtract vec this element from both sides, we would get an absurd that 0 is equal to 1. But here, this is assignment operator. Yes, so we take those elements, we increase by 1, and this result is assigned to those elements. Yeah, so so in programming it makes perfect sense. Yeah, here. When it comes to changing elements of the other data structures, it's not very different. Yeah, so if we take our data frame and let's say that we want to change value of aces. Yeah, aces in this order, they are in line 13, 26, 39, and 52. Okay. 26, 39, and 52. Okay. And now if we want to change column values from 1 to, let's say, 14, there are two ways to do it. First way is to write here that we refer to the third column of given rows and we change it to 14. Yeah. And as we see, those values have been changed. Alternatively, if we want, we can refer to column value by its name. Now, this is a vector, and we want to change those elements of the vector. Notice that here we don't have comma. And now, if we type, let's say, 14.5, yeah, it will work just like before. Yeah, but instead of using a data frame explicitly, first we will extract the vector from the data frame, and then we will change the values of those elements of this vector. Okay. In addition to this, there is also another alternative way to choose certain elements of our data structure. Yeah, and in this method we will use logical classes. Yeah. Choosing elements by logical conditions. And for this exercise we will create new vector. Let's say why not? The length of this vector is 6, and now if we want to refer to some elements, just like before, we could write, for instance, 1, 3, and 6. Yeah, obviously I forgot to put C here. Yeah, so I made the mistake that I'm telling you not to make. So here we call this using only indices of elements that we are interested in, but alternatively we can provide a vector of true and false values, which indicates those elements in which we are interested. Yeah, so here we are interested in the just like in this example. Here we are interested in the element in the first, third, and sixth element. Yeah, and this will work exactly the same as here. Yeah, so this may look that this notation is more cumbersome. Yeah, but in the future sessions, you will see that this is super useful if we want to filter our data set for given conditions. Yeah, but we will discuss this in the next parts. Yeah, so I think that this is it for this part of the video. Okay, so see you soon.